It's the grand final edition of NBL Overtime, and Melbourne United find themselves in an outstanding position, 2-0 up in the grand final series. And it turns out that Corey Shervill, not the only one to get a start during this grand final series. Jack Heverin in the chair for Cam Luke, alongside first and foremost Corey Homicide Williams. It is good to see you.
Always a pleasure, my man. What's going on?
Liam Santamaria, nice to have you with us as well. And as I say, Melbourne in a great spot, 2-0 up ahead of Friday's Game 3 back in Melbourne.
Yeah, no, they are. Wildcats have been valiant in their efforts, but they're in a dominant position now. And good on you stepping in for it, man. Shout out to Cam. Can't wait to have you back. But Jackie boy, good hustle by you.
And very similar to Corey Shervill. Got the phone call very late last night. Cam didn't pass a fitness test, and here I am. I even ironed a shirt for the whole thing as well. News coming through this morning, which is good, Liam, from a Victorian point of view. The government potentially increasing the number of fans that might be allowed inside John Cain Arena on Friday.
Well, that's good news, because Melbourne United are going to hoist that trophy on Friday night. I mean, let's be honest, that's what we all expect to happen. So the more people in there, the merrier to see that happen. And look, that group, Melbourne United, have been on the road for quite some time. So they'll be all excited to be back with their families right now, but also in front of their fans to try to hoist that trophy on Friday night.
Corey, we've got a lot to talk about, obviously, but first and foremost, is it done? Are Melbourne taking care of business on Friday? Is this a sweep?
Yeah, this is a sweep. It should be. They're stronger. Their whole team is intact, and they should win the series. They should just get it over with. We all know Perth Wildcats, they're undermanned, and valiant effort to get to the grand finals without Bryce Cotton, but the buck stops here. 3-0.
It's been a series in many ways so far, gentlemen, of almost what-ifs in some respects from a Perth Wildcats point of view, because let's face it, in both games, they've had their opportunities in Game 1 to send it into overtime with a Jesse Wagstaff 3, and even in Game 2, as wounded as they are, they had their chances to potentially win this game.
Well, I mean, Game 1 was... it was a shot, right? It was a shot to go to OT. They implemented the game plan, the Wildcats, of keeping control of the tempo, grounding it out defensively, and then trying to execute their stuff in the half court. And Todd Blanchfield, an enormous part of that, right? He's the guy that needs to be the man ticking the scoreboard over for them. 27 points in that Game 1. Chris Goulding. We're going to talk about Chris Goulding because he has been outstanding. And they just need a couple of guys, one or two guys to go with Blanchfield. They need Blanchfield plus one or two more. And in Game 1, it was only him. And in Game 2, he wasn't there. He wasn't able to put those points on the board because of the defensive attention. Meanwhile, we know Melbourne, in the big moments, they're going to be able to get buckets because they've got that man. They've got Landale. They've got Barlow, McCarron, Joe Lawala-Chul. Hopefully he comes up okay. So it's all on whether Perth can get some points on the board, and they're able to do that one time, but not so much the other.
Corey, in playoffs, sometimes it's the big moments that matter the most, and it just feels like Melbourne, for as valiant as Perth have been and for as good as they've been for a lot of the series, that when the big moments have been up for grabs, Melbourne have been able to win those big moments.
They're all intact, and they have their players that make those big moments happen. The guy that makes that play happen 90% of the time is on the sideline watching his team perform. You got to realize in sports, period, you can have as many great big men as you want, but when it comes down to it, you need a guard that can create his own shot and create for others consistently, and they don't have that. So as close as it always may look, it's not really that close because they don't have that guy to break a game open or seal a game on the court.
I suppose the other thing, Liam, that shouldn't be lost from a Melbourne point of view, obviously the lead is 2-0 and it's a huge one in the series, but winning 2 games in Perth on what they've already done in Perth this season, there's not many teams in the history of the NBL who have been able to go to Western Australia and win as many games in a season. In fact, there's been none, like Melbourne United have.
No, none. They're the first team to do it 3 times. Now they've done it 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean, they own RAC Arena right now. It holds no fear at all for that team. Now, they don't have to go back there. I personally, I know it's unrealistic. I would have liked to have seen the series stay there.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I mean, they're going to win it anyway. 13,000 fans for me, is better than 1,000 or 2,000 fans, even if they are your opponent's supporters. But that's not how it's going to be. Well done to the Red Army for coming out. I think a lot of them would have felt, geez, no Bryce Cotton, no Luke Travers. I don't know if we're in this series, but they came and supported their team regardless. Almost got them over the line in Game 1 with their impact. But now it comes back to Melbourne. They've got that 2-zip lead and they're going to bring out the broom.
They sure are. Last week on the show, you spoke a lot about Chris Goulding and perhaps not having the biggest impact during the semi-final series against the Phoenix. He's changed things around in a massive way in this grand final series. 23 in game 1, 5 made threes, 21 in game 2 on the back of 4 made threes. He's been the man for them, Corey.
In big moments like the grand final, that's what he does. He steps up big. Let's think back to when he was in the grand finals when they won it. He was huge. Let's go back to that deciding game, Game 5. He set the tone and didn't look back versus Adelaide, Grand Finals MVP. That's what this is what we're seeing right now. We're not seeing Chris Goulding, we're seeing CG43. He stepped up big. He's hit big shots. He's been there. Let's talk about that hustle play to save the ball. You know, obviously he hit that from the abundance, the Chemist warehouse sign. You got to understand, he was a development player playing for Perth. So what better feeling as a player than it is to go against your former team who beat you last 2 seasons ago on your home court, for you to go back into a venue on the road like as hostile as this venue and do it to him the way he's doing it to him. Great performance.
To quote your good self, this is light work for Chris Goulding right now. I mean, is he out of second gear?
Not really.
He doesn't look like it. You know, he comes in, he's just hitting tough shot after tough shot, but without really extending himself. He's flowing right now. What does he put? 44 points on the board over the first couple of games, limited minutes in game 2. I mean, he's just in a beautiful rhythm right now, which is amazing after those struggles in the semi-final series.
I'm going to tell you how this thing works. When you know you have to go up against the import GOAT, your mindset is different. When you know he's not even in the series, who's rivaling you? Look at the matchups across the board for him. Who's rivaling him? Who's going to get the attention? Like, you shut Todd Blanchfield down, game over. Who else is on the perimeter? You can have all the hard-nosed defensive players in the world. Who's ticking over the scoreboard to rival what you're going to do? Mentally, you know what that's going to take them? Exactly what we're seeing. There's nobody out there that can guard me. Nobody. I can get my shot off at any point on whoever's out there. And I don't have to really kill myself on the other end because there's no cotton. We're winning this. That's where his mindset is. And that's why he's looking like that.
And he's on pace now to move into a special place of a 2-time Larry Sangstock medalist, just quietly. I mean, he has been killing it. He's got to be right in amongst it. And if he has a good, solid game 3, he's going to have that medal around his neck.
Let's stay with Melbourne and talk about one of his teammates and one of the most influential players of the season, Jock Landale. In the commentary, we highlighted the Mooney and Landale matchup. We spoke about how big this was going to be. Liam, we've said twice now, it feels like Jock Landale has taken this matchup personally against John Mooney and is doing his best to outdo him.
Dominating. He's had the better of the matchup. Yes, Mooney got some numbers in that game too, but Jock Landale has been the dominant force thus far on the interior. And I'm not sure if it's quite as much about the matchup with John Mooney as it is him just trying to win a championship. Him knowing that he is an important focal point. He's trying to follow up on the strong words that he's had all season long. He's had that confident mindset. He's wanted them to have a championship mentality all season long. And he knows, well, it's on me to come up big in the grand final series to get us over the line. And he's out hustling him 17 boards. You've got to keep Perth off the offensive glass, especially in Perth. And he had 15 defensive rebounds. He's been taking care of business in there.
He stepped up in a big way, Corey, when it matters.
He's been stepping up all season. This is just a whole nother level he's gone to. Look, it's a pit stop for him. Let's be honest. We know this. He's here because of the reasons why he wasn't in Europe, and we're grateful to have him here, and he's put it on full display. He told us his intentions in preseason, what he wanted to do, the only thing he wanted to do. He even went and said, like you said, the big words, I want to go undefeated. We're that good. So accountability breeds responsibility. No, they did not go undefeated. However, he has been impressive this postseason. He's been impressive in the regular season. That's why I said they have to double him. And whenever they didn't double him, he destroyed them, and the numbers were huge. We love him because he's a willing passer, too. You know what I mean? He makes the right plays. He reads the game the right way. He just wants to win. And this performance in the Grand Final Series, look, how many years has he been pro?
Just a couple.
Just a couple. I'm not allowing a rookie to stop me. I don't care what year, what type of year he had. I am not allowing John Mooney, who's a rookie, fresh out of uni, to stop me. That's what we're seeing.
I also liked, we talk about what he said about going undefeated and whatnot. I liked what he said in the post-game presser after they beat the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix in Game 3. And he was asked about this upcoming series. And he said something along the lines of, we're the favourites. We know it. We should win this title. We're going to embrace it. We've got to lift our game to meet that level of expectation. Sometimes people play mind, this is a team, they're the back-to-back champions, and this is a team that always wins. He was like, respect to them, but we're the favourites. We know it. We're going to play like that.
While we're on the subject of respect, let's talk about Mitch Norton and the amount of respect across the league for what he's been able to do. In the semi-final series, he got injured in Game 2 of the series against Illawarra, has carried injury all the way through here. The 27 minutes that he played in Game 2, with one hip, basically, Corey, they're not going to win the series, Perth, but I feel like it's the sort of individual performance that we'll talk about for a long time to come.
I mean, we'll always respect any wounded player that goes out and plays. He's given it his all. This is who he is. That's in his DNA. We got to respect it. He could easily sit on the side and say, you know what, I can't really do it. I'm not 100%. But he's not that guy. That's not his character. That's not who he is. So definitely respect his performance and what he's out there doing with the injury.
Coming out of contract.
Yeah.
They need to get that done. I mean, there's that, what is that saying? You love it when a plan comes together. I mean,
just go to Corey's Instagram for sayings. That's where you normally find them all.
Have you got that in there at some point?
Let me have a quick look, see if it's in there somewhere.
Then they signed Mitch Norton. It was all a part of replacing Damien Martin. I mean, that time was going to come down the track, right? They signed him to that 3-year deal. I mean, helped the package deal with Nick Kay to get that done. But it was a plan in place that Damo's not going to last forever. This guy could become our replacement. And that has just come together beautiful. I mean, it's like we're watching Damien Martin out there.
Yep.
In terms of his toughness, his leadership, his effort at the defensive end. And they need to lock him away on a long-term deal and just build on that.
What happens Friday? Does he play? Is he
play.
risking, in a really short off-season, is he risking potentially delaying the start of next season by playing on Friday?
I don't think so. I'm not a doctor, but he'll play, right?
He'll play.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Todd Blanchfield will play, and his series so far was outstanding in Game 1. Brilliant performance from him. And in Game 2, Corey, unfortunately, the looks were good. The ball just wouldn't drop.
Yeah, just the wrong time to be shooting blanks, basically. Again, good series he's had coming into the grand final series. Game 1 was solid, but unfortunately, the ball just didn't drop. He just has to find a way to bounce back and finish strong.
3 of 19 in Game 2, Liam, and he had Udai Bubba chasing him around for a lot of the game. When Bubba needed a rest, McDaniel took some time, Mitch McCarron took some time.
Yep.
It was just a really tough afternoon at the office.
Shea Ili as well. They're loaded with defensive guys at that position, and they just made life really, really tough for him. Dean Vickerman spoke post-game about, hey, we need to make some adjustments on the Todd Blanchfield down screen because he was killing them off those actions, and they did make some adjustments, and it worked out. It worked out really well for him. I mean, yes, he missed shots. I mean, look at you see here as he's coming off that they ran some nice little actions there to try to punish that pressure, but he got some really open looks. I mean, this one that bounced back to him, here he is wide open, but he just all that pressure, he wasn't able to kind of find a rhythm that enabled him to kind of get going. And then late in the game here, he's trying desperately to get some things happening, but the pressure from Udai Bubba and others. But he needs to stay aggressive. He needs to be a focus. In fact, you know what? What's
happening here?
I'm coming out. We haven't done it all season.
Hang on a minute.
I'm coming out.
Grand final edition sort of stuff, this.
Yeah, because it's a huge part of the series. They have to make some adjustments on Todd Blanchfield. Pause this play here. So this is one of those clips we just looked at. This is going to be a dribble handoff here with John Mooney. And this is Game 1. And this is how Melbourne were playing these actions here with locking and trailing Todd Blanchfield. And we don't run the play, but here he gets the handoff. Shea Ili's a little late on the recovery, and he gets open and knocks down the shot. But the adjustment they made in game 2 was Illy, Uday Bubba, Mitch McCarron, Sam McDaniels, you're saying, they were top blocking these actions on the down screens. So instead of Illy being here between Blanchfield and the bucket, he's up here saying, no, you're not going to come off this pick. What Blanchfield needs to do, and Bryce Cotton immediately clicks into these counters when he's in this spot. And Blanchfield used to, when he was with Townsville under Sean Dennis, they used to run these kind of... He needs to back cut that. Yep. So when Illy's on this side, the ball's usually here on these down screen. Blanchfield needs to back cut. They need to throw... I mean, he's an athlete. Throw it up and punish that pressure to make Melbourne have to click back into some more of this coverage so they can run this vision, so they can get a little bit more of that. They couldn't get him those looks in game 2. So Perth need to make... This is the beauty of the finals, right? Melbourne made the adjustment going into game 2. Even though they won, Perth need to make that adjustment coming into this next one.
That is outstanding by you, Liam. Did you know he was going to the plasma?
At some point, he needed to. I didn't know when it was, but at some point, that play was going to happen. Great work.
We've got a run sheet here. It doesn't say anything about the run sheet. But anyway, it's fantastic, Liam. Well done by you. Hey, let's not give up on Perth just yet. Let's play out the scenario because Perth are Perth and they will never give up themselves. What do they need to do in Game 3? And can it revolve more around Will Magnay, who we saw some glimpses of in Game 2? 9 points. They rolled the ball in for him a little bit more. Is he the sort of guy that perhaps they can play a little more through?
There's nothing they can do. This thing is over.
Don't be like that.
No, it's the truth.
I know that. But
there's nothing else that can happen.
Give the Red Army some hope, Corey.
I have no hope to give them. I'm giving the reality of it. They don't have that player. You could just double the big. They don't have enough players to make the play happen. They just don't. Will Magnay is not in Will Magnay form like he was last. If he was last season's Will Magnay, they got a chance. Yeah. But he's just not that. So if I didn't see him in Game 1 and Game 2, it ain't going to happen in Game 3.
Try and be glass half full.
Well, for the most... I mean, I agree with Corey. But
so do I.
I'm going to give the Red Army something to hold on to, okay?
The collective state of Western Australia's just gone click. See you later.
This is their Obi-Wan Kenobi, their only hope. They need Luke Travers and Clint Steinel back on the floor. All those guys are going to fly. Mitch Norton, Travers and Steinel. They've got a couple of extra days here to try and get them right. They need not just one, they need both those guys out there. That's a big one. Yep. They need Blanchfield to catch fire again, like he did in Game 1. And they need Steinel and Travers helping with ticking that scoreboard over. And they need to have a night where they dominate the offensive glass. We saw just a couple of little moments from John Mooney and Will Magnay in that regard in Game 2. They were better as a presence on the glass in Game 2 than they were in Game 1. They need to take another big leap from there. So if all of that comes together, Melbourne have an off night, they're going to be in the mix to maybe steal a game. That's really their only hope. And then Kevin White, he was right. The mentality he spoke about post-game, he said, we can't look at this as, we're down 2-0, it's a long way back. It's one basketball game. We come down, we put everything on the line to win one game, and then we're in a new situation, and then we focus on the next.
Shout out to Kevin White as well. He has been superb during this grand final series. He's played a massive role for Perth. We're here with thanks to Aldi Mobile. Final predictions for Friday, gentlemen. I think we all accept that Melbourne going in as red-hot favourites, but what will this title mean for them? They built this group to win a title, but it's one thing to build it, it's another thing to actually get it done. What would it mean for them to win it again here?
This would be their second title in, 4 seasons? Mm-hmm. Be huge. They came in with a team, like you said, to win. It was win or break the whole thing up. And for them to get that, regardless of what's going on with the other team, it's a great testament to them sticking to what the focus was. It wasn't easy. Whenever a team is stacked, you got to figure out the rotations, who's priority, who comes off the bench, and, figuring out those roles with the new key additions. And they've done a great job finding the balance, and, they should be happy with getting that championship.
And I mean, we all thought in the off-season, when they signed Scotty Hobson, they signed Jock Landale, this is the team that should win the title. So it'd be a matter of getting the job done from that perspective. But it'll also be a bit of a win for Australian talent. This is going to be an all-Australian starting lineup. It's going to be if and when they get it done, it's going to be the first time since 1980 a team has won an NBL title with less than 2 imports. So that'll be big. And then you look at the fact that that one import they've got, they're bringing that man off the bench. So that's what you can get when you can sign a guy like Jock Landale. But, I think that's something to hang your hat on, the fact that they will have done it with all that local talent.
Hashtag NBL21 and hashtag, of course, NBL Overtime to join us on the show tonight. As soon as the Grand Final Series finishes, free agency is going to hot up, and it's going to be really, really hot. Short turnaround between seasons. Teams have got some big decisions to make. Well, the Phoenix were one of the first to move. They took up their option on Simon Mitchell a couple of weeks ago, and now they've done the same thing with Kyle Adnam. So he, as a local boy, will be with the Phoenix again next season.
This is a great look. He's had a really good year. He was a finalist for Sixth Man of the Year. Really took initiative when he got that opportunity to be more, coming off the bench, a focal point offensively. I think that he did a really good job when Kiefer Sykes initially went down, showing he could run a team. And I think this is a great and important re-signing back. Understand, if he wasn't coming here, you would lose him to the JackJumpers. I honestly believe that. And for him to come back home, this is where he needs to be. He's great in the community as well. So look, it ticks all the boxes for me. Great signing early.
I like it. They also had Mitch Creek pick up his player option for that next year. I will say, he keeps on improving, Kyle Adnam, and that's terrific. And he's taking some small steps at the defensive end, but he fell out of the rotation for the most part in the finals because of Simon Mitchell's lack of trust in him defensively. The same thing happened at Melbourne United. Pete Hooley started playing more than Kyle Adnam because Dean Vickerman trusted him more at the defensive end. If Kyle Adnam's going to take that big next step that the Phoenix needs him to take, if they're going to continue to rise to a championship level, they need him to keep improving as a defender. Now, he doesn't have the physical tools to be a great defender, but neither does a guy like Mitch Norton. But he's been able to become that kind of guy. So I think that's got to be the focus for Kyle Adnam moving forward.
Some big decisions for the Phoenix to be making in the next few weeks as well. The Sydney Kings have already made a few of their decisions. Craig Moller has made his own decision. He's off to Germany to play next season. Brad Newley looking for another opportunity in the NBL. But Jordan Hunter, the big re-signing for the Kings this week, had an option for a third year, has taken that up, plus another 2 on top.
Good job by the Kings. And that's a long-term deal. He's going to be with them for the next 3 years. And very few, only maybe one person in the league took a bigger leap than Jordan Hunter this year. And this is a really good re-signing. Now, is he their starting centre moving forward, or have they just locked in, a big piece, a guy that you can lock in as an elite backup 5 over the course of the journey? Well, let's see. We're going back to 3 imports, so that'll be interesting what they do. But good decision from Chris Pongras. Give him that security moving forward. He's a good guy around the group as well, and he's going to be in the purple and gold for the long haul.
Yo, his body count, just in that highlight alone, was
You've been waiting for that.
Oh my God, was so impressive. Great signing, great young talent. He did everything right. We didn't expect this coming in from him this season. He was a finalist for Most Improved. Come leaps and bounds this season from last year to this year. Obviously, he was playing behind Bogut last year, so we didn't get an opportunity to see him a lot. So it was really impressive what he was able to put together. He is a focal point of their organization for years to come, and I look forward to seeing him for many, many years in the NBL.
Keep your eyes on the Sydney Kings. There's a lot still to happen there.
For sure. Speaking of free agency, we're talking about the JackJumpers for a moment.
Sure.
Where are the JackJumpers at? Where's the big name signing for the JackJumpers?
I thought it was going to be Nick Kay. I think everyone thought it was going to be Nick Kay, didn't
Nick
they?
Kay's breaking our hearts, just quietly. The reports coming out of Tassie yesterday about him going to Japan. I think Paulie Henare might have a little bit to do with that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And they've got. By this time, the Phoenix, they had Mitch Creek locked in. They had Ben Madgen, another guy that they played big minutes in their opening season. I think they might have had Kendall Stevens. These JackJumpers need to get a move on. Time's ticking.
NBL 22 is not that far away. And they need to get busy.
And they need a marquee guy.
They do.
If it's not Nick Kay, is it Brock Modem? They need to get a big name guy to make a splash down there.
Let's take a look at our JD sneaker of the week. Corey, this is your neck of the woods. You're the fashionista amongst us. What are we liking? What are we seeing here? This is the Puma Court Rider 2-fold that Kyle Adnam wore throughout the season.
Yeah, those are sweet. I love those colors. Reminds me a lot of springtime. It's not spring today, but it reminds me of the pastel colors. I'm feeling these sneakers.
Is that a Mitch Creek hookup, do you think? With the,
It would have to be.
Do you know what I mean?
No doubt.
The Puma?
It would have to be. But yeah, it reminds me of spring.
Do you think spring when you see those kicks? What about these kicks?
Oh,
These are the Jordan 7s.
Second. What's the story here, Jackie boy?
They look fantastic. That's what they look. They are the undisputed king of trainers, JD Sports, and this is absolutely superb. This is the limited edition pair that's going to be available online and selected JD stores this coming Friday. To cop your pair and for all of your release information, head to jdsports.com.au. The Air Jordan 7 PSG dropping this week.
Yeah, those are fire. That's a hell of a collaboration. Shout out to PSG and Jordan. So I'm looking forward to seeing when those drop.
You're going to get your hands on a pair of them, surely.
Hopefully, if they don't run out.
Well, you might get a little NBL overtime payout here.
Be nice. Cam's got all these shoes at home, and I guarantee he hasn't paid for a single one of them.
Cam's got the hooks, no doubt about that.
I need to get on the gravy train. Before we finish up, let's talk Boomers, and timely as well. Brian Goorjian made some cuts to the squad since you boys last got together, but significant reports coming out of the States this morning. Not confirmed, I might say. Brian Goorjian has yet to make an official comment as we go to air, but Ben Simmons, after what was a pretty horrific playoff series for him, Corey, looks to be potentially opting out of the Boomers and spending some time on his game during the off-season instead.
And he should. He needs to spend time on his game. Plus, the way it finished, he wouldn't want to not be in the gym working on his game. It's imperative that he develops the confidence to shoot. He's out there as talented as he is, not even attempting to shoot. So he has to get that monkey off his back, and the longer that he goes, as he's gone already, the more difficult it will be to get the confidence. Mentally, he has to release and just shoot the ball, man. Just don't care and shoot. Because right now, it's just hurting him. It's hurting him. He shot the ball poor from the free throw line. It got to a point where there was a play where he could have dunked. He passed it because he didn't want to get fouled in the act of shooting to go to the free throw line. That's a problem. The game is played 90% from the neck up. So it's all mental what's going on with him. So the best thing about it is he's still young. You know, there's a lot of players that went through things like this. Markelle Fultz, he went through that as well. So hopefully he can get over the hump mentally, because it's just him versus him right now. It's mental. He has to let that go and shoot the ball, man.
I'm really disappointed that with this news that he's thinking about not coming with the Boomers. I mean, I think, you know, and he's in a difficult spot right now. I mean, that was a bit hard to watch, that Game 7 and what was going on for him.
And what's followed after has been pretty hard to watch too.
Rough. So I'm not going to, you know, he can make whatever decision he feels like is best for him, because there's a mental health elements to that as well. You know, we've got to recognise that. But I think that environment with the Boomers would have been spectacular for him right now, to immediately put all that behind him and go into that environment, which is a beautiful basketball atmosphere and culture. And those guys, Paddy and Joe, would have been so supportive. Brian Goorjian. But so hopefully they can convince him to do that, because I think that would be perfect for him right now.
What does it do to our medal chances?
We're still good.
Yeah?
No doubt.
Corey, we okay?
I hope so, man, because from what I hear with the reports in America, USA is coming stacked. I did not think that they would come stacked. But they're stacking that team. There's some superstars committing to Team USA. So that just makes the chances that much more difficult.
Yeah, and also how Ben's game would have translated to the FIBA environment might have been, you know, there was some question marks about that. We saw that with Giannis, with Greece and the like. So this team's still good to go, man. We're going to give that whole thing a big old shake.
Fingers crossed, and fingers crossed. Brian Goorjian.
Come on now.
Work
Come on,
the phones.
Boomers. Come on, Boomers. Let's go, because I know the impact of the Boomers getting a medal, what it will do for the country. Then you talk about more international interest for the game of basketball, international sponsors, more commercial partners coming in on every level and every aspect of Australian basketball. So when you look at it, you have a great juniors program, you have a great women's program forever. Now you have a great domestic league. Now you need the national men's team to be recognized. Then what do you have? You got a powerhouse in the country.
That's us done. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.
Peace.